So to talk about Charlie is, it will take all of about 10 videos. Charlie is just special to me. I mean, we do fight and we argue, but at the end of the day, Charlie knows when he calls Lana, Lana's got his back. I'll tell you one funny story. Charlie likes to shop at Price Right. So here's the deal with Charlie. He has to buy potato chips at Price Right. Then we go to the Food Mart where he gets his orange juice and milk. Then he has to go to the dollar store where he gets his soda. Charlie cannot shop at one store and buy everything there. So we went to Price Right. And we have to go down this aisle, then take a right, then take a quick left, because Charlie's a creature of habit. So as you go in, all the fruits are on this side. So, and we've all done this. Take a grape or put it in our mouth and chew it, hope no one's looking or the cameras are not watching us. But Charlie, he kept on eating. I kept on eating. I said, Charlie, you have to stop that. Okay, Lana. So we go down a little bit more so we can get other things. And cookies. He loves cookies. He loves sweets. So we got some more of that. But I told Charlie to stay put because his legs were getting tired and I was going to get the rest of the groceries. So that was fine. I picked up everything we need, got back to the counter. I'm getting Charlie out. Now, mind you, you just don't pay the bill. Charlie has to look at the receipt. Then he has to calculate the cents, when it was done, and what time of month, all that's on the receipt. He had to calculate that before he'd pay his money. So now, I tell Charlie, I'm going to get the car. Wait for me. I go and get the car. I get Charlie in the car, buckle the seatbelt, buckle mine, and someone taps on my window. So I looked, it was the security guard. So I did the window, I said, can I help you? He said, who are you? And I introduced myself, and he said, who's the man? I said, this is Charles I. Bean. He said, well, could you empty his pockets? I said, what? Don't you know Charlie had grapes, he had cookies, he had candy. I told Charlie, we're going to go to jail. We're going to jail. I know, I work at the DA's office. It's going to be in headlights. Price Right, Elena Laster, stealing with Charles I. Bean. So they gave us a break as soon as I told them who I was and gave my ID, and they said, well, just don't bring him back anymore.
And so anyway, but Sydney was my friend. And I stayed with them until my father passed away in 58, just before I graduated college in January of 59.
Now, this is your college graduation picture?
Yeah, with my mother.
With your mom.
Yeah.
And your mother's name is what?
That's my mother.
What's her name?
Molly.
Molly. It's a picture of Molly and Charlie.
So when I came back home after graduating, I worked with my father. Yeah. And I remember one thing. I remember we were in the store working, and a fella came by, and my father asked him. He says, "Yes, can I help you?" And the guy said, "I'm from the United Jewish Appeal." And at that time, the Jewish people were having trouble with Germany, primarily. Primarily. So he says, "Well, we're trying to get as many Jewish people out of Germany as soon as possible." He says, "We're running boats and so on and so forth." So my father looked at him and he says, how much do you want?" And he says, "Saul," he says, "they've got you down here for $100. My father wasn't a rich man. He only had one grade of elementary schooling.
Oh,
so he looked at me, and this is what my father said.
All right.
And he looked at me, and he looked at the fellow that told him for $100. He says, "I don't have it, but I've got to give it."
Oh, Charlie.
And he came up somewhere. We came up with $100, and that was when I was working with him. And then, of course, I worked at various jobs around, and I played ball. 10, 12.
Yeah.
Our coach was a fellow by the name of Hawk Connery, a devout Catholic, who went to Holy Name and then went to Cathedral, high school.
I need to backtrack a little bit. Where were your parents born?
Well, my father came from the Ukraine when he was 1 year old. Oh. See, the Jews were getting out of Russia
because of Hitler during that time. You told, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. When you were in the service, you told me about the kids who were eating out of the garbage can. Can you share that story with me?
Over in Korea, yeah. When I first got over there, we landed at Busan, which is at the southern end, and we took a train up to I forgot the name of the town, but it was a replacement depot. Okay. And we got up there, and we had skillets, and they put food in it, and they had buckets of water where you empty cans where you took your waste and the food you didn't eat.
Right.
And it went into the buckets, and then you washed your skillet out in the bucket of water.
Right.
Water. When we finished scraping the food from our skillet into the bucket, the kids would come out from the Korean kids would come out and scoop up the garbage to take it home. I'll tell you, it was sickening.
Yes.
But hey, they had nothing to eat.
Right.
They ate the pork. Yeah. But thank God, conditions are far better than that.
Right.
That.
And I know you got frostbitten. You
Huh?
told me you got frostbitten. These fingers don't straighten out.
No, this one here, and this one, these were frostbitten in Korea. Here, we were pushing north, and it was just before they called the truce.
Okay.
Truce up. I don't think we were in North Korea right at the time, but it was close to the border. We were pushing north. When I got over there in late March of 1951, then we set up in Seoul at a Korean college up there, and we had the highland. Korea is all hills and valley,
Right.
and the Chinese were going to take Seoul by May Day, which is a big holiday in the communist world. Well, and we set up. I think there were half a dozen American divisions, and there were Australians, New Zealanders, British, Colombian from South, minor groups.
Right.
And we repelled them and pushed them in, and we started our offensive, and we kept pushing them back. But I think it was 42 days without any heat. Even in the daytime, when the sun came down, it was still below zero. Oh. And I froze my fingers, and they soaked these in hot water for hours at a time. And they won't come back. Back. And I mean, you're seeing it.
Yes, I do. I see it.
And so, I was a little older than most of the kids.
How old were you then, Charlie?
I think I was about 26, 27, something like that.
Okay.
It was 1951. And I came out of the Army in 52. Oh, yeah, 1951 in the fall. Never saw, the temperature never got above zero over there. And I had kids coming up to me. I was a squad leader, 7 men under me, because I guess I was the oldest.
Right.
And they wanted to die.
Oh, Charlie.
They wanted to die. They were so cold, they can't take it anymore. I think we were 6 weeks without any, heat or shelter or anything like that. Until finally they took us off the line.
So, Charlie, I'm going to close this off. Get over here, Denise. Give Charlie a hug. I'm going to close this off. And what I normally say to Charlie is when I leave out, going home, he says to me, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow if the creek
don't rise.
And that's it for our show. Thank you so much for listening and watching the Elena Laster Show. This is the first series that we're going to do. We're going to be getting other elderlies in the community who can share their stories about when they were born and in the war, whatever their life story is. Because, it's a struggle to get where they are, and thank God they're still surviving and they still have the wits to tell their story. So here again, Mr. Charles I. What's your middle initial? I?
Yeah.
What's his
Ira.
Mr. Charles Ira Bean. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah. I thank you for coming, and if there's anything that I can do to help anybody, and if it's within my province, I'm here.
Thank you, Charlie.
Sameh,